So I'll assume you've read the question and attempted the question here. So this is a Math Studies past paper question. So the keywords in these are the number of items you have, and we have this, that Jushan removes the disk that is picked, and then Raman has to choose a disk from those left in the bag. So we have a without replacement situation. Now, this question can be nicely visualized using a tree diagram, but you don't have to do that. We will try and do it without. So the first question wants you to list probabilities. So the first one is quite straightforward. Write the probability that Jushan chooses a red disk from the bag. So Jushan is the first person that picks the items. So there are 7 red disks, and there are a total of 11. So 7 plus 4, that's 11. So that's the probability, quite straightforward. The second part is it's a conditional probability because you have the given word in there. So for part II, we have to use the rule that the probability of A happening given that B happened is the probability of A and B happening divided by the probability of B happening. So you can do this in many different ways. The probability of A and B happening, so the probability of Raman choosing blue and Jushan choosing red, the probability of those things happening. So the probability of Raman choosing blue is 4 over 10 because it's a without replacement. So if Jushan picks the items, she has he has out of 11 choices, whatever they want, but Raman will always have one less to pick from, so it's always over 10. So this is Raman, and because it's an intersection and assuming they are independent events, so we can multiply them together, and then the probability of Jushan choosing red is 7 over 11. We've done that. All the questions will follow through from every answer you get, divided by the probability of Jushan picking red. So that's 7 over 11. And if you calculate this, these will cancel out, so you end up with 4 over 10, which simplifies to 2 over 5. Either would work. So even if you write it as a percentage here and a percentage here, that is also acceptable. For part II, it's triple I, we need the probability that Jushan chooses red and then Raman chooses blue. So it's not a given probability, so this is different than the first one. The first one, we are restricting our choices to them picking a red disk, but this is a probability now of this happening and then the second event happening. So probability of Jushan picking red is a 7 over 11, and then Raman choosing the blue is 4 over 10. So quite different from the first one. Again, conditional probability assumes that the first event already happened. So the probability is going to be different. So this ends up being 28 over 110. Again, you can leave it or you can simplify it or write it as a percentage, up to you. So this is the answer. So for part B, we have the probability that Jushan and Raman choose different colored discs from the bag. So in this case, you have to have different combinations. So we either have that first Jushan picks red and then Raman picks blue, or we have that Raman picks blue and then Jushan picks, Jushan picks blue and then Raman picks red. So we can find the probability of this, we can find the probability of this, and then we can add them together. So the OR translates to a plus because you're taking a combination of different possibilities. Part II has been already done, so this was 14 over 55. And then you could do the same thing for the blue and red. So the probability of Jushan picking blue is 4 over 11. And then the probability of Raman picking red will then be 7 over 10. Okay, so this is the blue, this is the red. And if I multiply them, this will also give me 14 over 55. So actually I'm adding the same probability. Most of the time they'll end up being the same, especially if you're just swapping them, if they're independent events. But you still have to do the calculations. So this will end up being 28 over 55. So hopefully this was clear and an easy question to do. This is a paper 1 type question.